So, how important is a name, and what names do you go by? I would say if you were, let's say, a Yankees fan, like I am, and you're a fan of Aaron Judge, you probably wouldn't call yourself a Judgian. Or to give the Red Sox equal time, if you were a fan of Jackie Bradley Jr., you wouldn't call yourself a Bradlerian or something like that. But in chapter 11 of the Acts of the Apostles, today's reading, we're introduced to a new name. It says that Paul and Barnabas were in Antioch for about a year. Antioch's about 300 miles north of Jerusalem. And it says it was there that the disciples of Jesus were first called Christians. Christian from the word Christ, the Anglicanized version of the Greek Christos. It's the Greek word that means Messiah or anointed one. So they literally call themselves after the name of Jesus Christ. What does this mean, though? Well, it doesn't mean that they're just a fan of Jesus Christ, like you're a fan of Judge or a fan of Bradley Jr., right? It means that you were a follower of and believer in Jesus Christ. Now, which is a lot deeper than being just a fan. I would say if you're a fan of those guys, right, you probably understand their vital statistics. You know all about their careers, right, their batting averages, etc. Well, if you're a fan of Jesus Christ and deeper a follower of and believer in Jesus Christ, it would make sense that you would know his vital statistics too. You would know that he spent 30 years, for example, obeying his parents, 3 years preaching, and you could say 3 hours on the cross redeeming, right? And the vital statistics, what did he say? What was written about him? Because if there were a book written about one of those guys that you like, you probably would read that book. So to be a Christian means to be a follower of and believer in Jesus Christ. It's not just going through some motions. It's not just showing up in church. It's living every day in imitation of Christ. G.K. Chesterton said one time, just going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than standing in a garage makes you a car. Right? Meaning that we must live every day as a Christian, live in imitation of Jesus Christ. So that's your challenge for the day, is just take a look at how we live. Do you live your life in imitation of Christ every single day? I face that question constantly. Am I living today as a follower of and believer in Jesus Christ? Little tip for the day, never criticize someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes. That way, when you criticize them, you'll be a mile away from them and you'll have their shoes so they can't chase you. God bless, guys. Have a great day. Stay awesome.